we are the bloggers with Arner Adventures, and we thought that we would do a check-in each month of sort of how we did with our no-buy year. If you're just now finding us, maybe you're Googling no-buy year and found us that way, you can check out the link below for our blog, Arner Adventures, and we have a whole section for no-buy year. But in a nutshell, why we got into it, we live a minimalist lifestyle. We got into a few years ago, and again, we link below with the background on that. So it sort of couples really well with our lifestyle. It's really not about the money. It's a nice bonus.
It is, yeah. It just mostly just kind of reaffirms what we're doing. It's a little push, you know, to kind of keep us going in that direction we started out on a year or so ago, the last couple of years, and it's worked very well.
Yeah. It's more about focusing, sort of restructuring our mindset, you know, with anything. It's sort of like a fast, you know, if you've ever fasted, it's not just about the fast, or it's not just about whatever the situation is that you're doing. It's about a reset, and it's about being more intentional with whatever it is that you're trying to do. I think even just being a month in, just thinking, and we'll get more into it when we talk about some of the challenges and the successes. It's about reducing our carbon footprint and focusing more about the delivery logistics. And when you purchase something online, all those little steps about where that tiny little thing that you purchase, all the steps about, you know, it takes to get to your front door. And I think just thinking about that, and, you know, I just think just thinking more about that and focusing more on that.
A lot of times we don't think about everything that goes into the things we get. And just to reiterate what she said, yeah, there's just so much to go into it. And especially if you're sort of in a ecology minded person, you know, the carbon footprint, the trucks that deliver it, the packaging.
We sort of decided, I guess in November or December, what did we want our rules to be? And we actually would rather call them guidelines.
Guidelines, right? Yeah. And I think where we found there's a good little community of people. Well, the best outlet I found was on Instagram, where there's this nice little community of people who've done this, particularly in January. A lot of people like to do it in January, and the people always list the rules, so you can kind of take yours and compare it to theirs. You sort of mix and match, and then you go, oh, that guy's got a good idea, and they look good for it. They look all the better for it. Boy, they're doing something right. So you go and you take their little ideas and you put it into yours, and you just keep tweaking it.
Yeah,
as we say.
So we have a list of approved spending and sort of restricted areas. Again, we have a minimalist lifestyle, so we felt like it was going to be an area that was probably not as difficult for us, but we shall see. It's only January. So we'll link below, but essentially, if it's not something that takes care of our health, Betty White's health, Betty White is our dog for those who don't know. If it's we are using it for dining out. We don't dine out, of course, due to COVID, but we get takeout. We have a budget for it. We don't get crazy. Mm-hmm. Medical health takes care of our car. We have a budget for food and groceries. But the thing that we do is we travel and we have experiences, hence Arner Adventures. We live minimally so that we can live and experience fully. So we pride ourselves on the fact that we like to have adventures and we like to travel. And we think that the most important thing in life is to experience and not to have things.
And you do tend to think more that way, the more, or the less that you're consumer minded. Your mind isn't always geared in that direction of what do we need to consume and how much and boy, a day's gone by where we haven't, been a consumer. My God, so when you eliminate that stuff, you got to think about something else almost. And you do tend to think more about just doing things and minimally doing things with what you have. And then sometimes you find you become much more imaginative with things you do have, and creating experiences with things you do have that you might not have thought about if you're just always out buying, whatever is the latest.
So some of the restrictions that some people might think are difficult is that we actually said that this year we were not going to buy any clothing. We are going to repair them. We actually got that idea from some of the original OG folks who started No Buy years a few years ago, who actually some people who were in the fashion industry and just, were spending tons of money. Just, a button would break off their shirt and they would go spend, $200 on a blouse just because. And so we decided, even though we don't spend a ton of money on clothing, I feel like we're pretty good about that. We just decided we were not going to do it. So we decided, okay, we're going to repair our clothing. We're going to be really smart about it and not buy clothing. We also don't buy gifts. When we're on trips, we're not going to buy souvenirs, which we don't do that anyway.
We haven't done that for a while.
No. We're not going to buy cleaning products. We actually we make a lot of our own cleaning products.
Yeah, and then with the thinking about gifts, you really get creative. Both our families had cut back in recent years, like on the Christmas gifts and stuff, where you either drew names or you only bought for the grandkids or something like that. But when you do decide to get gifts, and we might do things for our parents or whatnot, we end up making things like desserts and stuff, or cookies, for Christmas, and you get creative with your packaging and whatever you might make,
or experiences, or doing something that is of service to someone. We'll link that down below too. We had some ideas at Christmas that we put on our blog for that too.
Well, we've had a few challenges so far, and even we're barely into it, but I'll start with mine. I lost another pair of sunglasses, which is something that has just been a periodical thing through my life. Good sunglasses and me have just never really meshed. Of course, I don't take the proper precautions, because I don't think I ever liked that little band that people wear that they hang, on you. And so recently I just, casually hung the glasses on my shirt, and I was looking out over into the water. We live here by the ocean, and there they went. And it's one of those things where time kind of goes like slow motion, and they just went. And it was way down. There was no diving down for them. So we had long story short, I had all these cheaper sunglasses that were for promotional things, and but they were all these funky colors. So I actually wrapped black tape, and I mean, it looks good. I wrapped black tape around the side part where the funky colors were, and you'd really have to be really close to me to realize that this was tape. I put a little time into it, and they look good. They look like these really cool black sunglasses now. And I feel good about that.
So my challenge this month is still is. I had a Fitbit. We have, and we're not even fancy with our Fitbits, but we've had our Fitbits for, I don't know, since 2017, I guess.
Yeah.
And even the Fitbit that I had, I got on Let Go from someone. I bought it used from someone. It was like an older version. I think I got it for next to nothing. But anyway, we've had it. I love it. I love tracking my steps. I like tracking my sleep. And Betty White and I were on a walk, and I lost it. And I almost knew about where I lost it. And before the No Buy year, I probably would have gotten on, I don't know, Poshmark or Let Go or something, and would have bought another one. However, because we're in the No Buy year, it was not on our approved spending. So I got on Nextdoor and asked folks in the area if they had seen it. Of course, no one has reported finding it. Someone did report that they saw it. So I have spent my mornings, I'm still on the search for it. I've not lost hope yet. So that has been a challenge, is missing my Fitbit. I've not lost hope yet. I also have a plant. I'm a big plant lover. If you haven't been following our blog, I have a plant that was outgrowing its pot. And for the health of the plant, I was getting really concerned, and I didn't have an extra pot. So, turned into a success. I got really resourceful with an old bucket that Jerry had that I spray painted white, and Jerry
I punched holes in the bottom of it, and
yeah. I repotted the plant in it, and it looks great. And so that ended up being a success. Another challenge, which turned into a success, is that I am in a Hemingway writing class, an online class, and it was a gift from my dad. And the class there was a book I needed for it, and I'm in the no-buy year, and I contacted my library. They didn't have it. I looked online for all these, free message boards to see if there was some way I could get it for free. And fortunately, every time there's been a need to read something, I have been able to find a free PDF online and been able to be really resourceful. So it has worked out every time. And now we'll sort of talk about some of the benefits, successes, positive things that kind of came out of this month. I guess we'll start with the 30-day
game.
Minimalism game.
Yeah. That's been a good launching point for the no-buy year. I mean, I can't think of anything better way to start out than the 30 days of January of doing this minimalism game, which we detailed on our website and whatnot. But oh gosh, we just got into more than just tangible things. We got rid of junk on our phone. We canceled junk mail that comes into the house. Really, because with this game, I think you get up into several hundred things you got to get rid of over the month. So you really got to get kind of creative.
We ended up getting rid of a total of 930 items.
Yeah.
I mean, that's including digital and physical items, but 930 items total.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to jumpstart the no-buy year. We'll link below. We do it every January. So it's a really great way to start off the no-buy year for sure. It sort of gives us a jolt into it.
And you definitely have a good cross-section of everything that affects your life, tangible and more like digital kind of stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. A really great thing that we did sort of piggybacks on the canceling the emails and all of that stuff was, and I still can't even believe it, is that we canceled our Amazon Prime. Can you live without your Amazon Prime?
We found
yes.
out we can.
Yes,
you can.
You can. Yes. I can't believe it. We have had Amazon Prime maybe since they came out with it. I mean, it's so weird. I think we're so trained you need something, you just pull up your phone and prime it, and it just comes to your door in 2 to 3 days. And breaking that habit, I think a few times I've even grabbed the phone just for things that are on our approved list, like vitamins. I mean, just things that we would buy, and I just grab it. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, so we canceled it, and it's sort of reduced that trigger finger, mode. It sort of stopped that, which has been nice.
Yeah, that's been as beneficial as anything, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that sort of, with this year, of course, was a lot different year for everybody, and when COVID came into play, that you really couldn't do much of anything. So that might have made it a little bit easier. You couldn't go out, and you could after a while, when they figured out you could go out with masks and whatnot. But that also led to, us being a little more creative and knowing that we couldn't just buy or interact the same way that we could before. I know for me, I got in touch with some old friends and stuff over the year that I hadn't, I'd lost touch with years ago. They weren't on Facebook or something like that, and
thing I guess that leads into something that has happened this month about the living more intentionally is that we just have better practices. We do something that's sort of funny, but it's better. Since COVID, Jerry and I both have developed very poor sleeping habits, and it's probably just, I think a lot of people have with the pandemic. And so one of the things we've tried to be more mindful of is, cutting out the blue lights before bed and less TV before bed, things like that. And so we actually set a habit of physically putting our phones to bed separate from our room.
Oh, that's a huge help.
Yeah.
Because you think you can put it down, and then that one night you're a little restless, you realize an hour after you should have been in bed, it's been nothing but phone time, and you're just scrolling through stuff.
Yeah. So we do. We moved our chargers and everything out of the room, and sometimes we have to have the prompting from the other one to say, "Are you ready to put the phone to bed?"
Yeah.
And so we get up and we put the phone to bed.
We both like to read too, and sometimes I think the phone or whatever technology might steer you away from those things, kind of make you forget that you really like that and miss it. But with the distractions, you just kind of go on sometimes. Yeah. We like to read, and we both like to write, which we've rediscovered that. I think I always kind of did, but I just, you get away from certain things that you might have liked or done well, when you were younger, and it's kind of brought us back around to some things like that. We write for our blog, and we both like to read. The two kind of intertwined, so it's been a really good thing.
Yeah. And then I think lastly, and I've blogged about this too before, is that I used to have this, there's not another word for it, a fear of meditating. Jared has talked about how it's been great for him. My mom has, and I've always been fearful of it. I have an anxious mind, and I struggle to calm it, and I just never thought it was possible for me. And I think with being more intentional and just sort of having my mornings, and especially I just sort of decided in 2021 I was going to have my mornings and set the intention of having my mornings for me and being more mindful to meditate and have that time. And it's very short. It's just a 5-minute meditation, and I'll link below to that. But I am now 30 days where if I don't have it, my day is completely thrown off. And I can't believe I'm able to say that. But it's true. Even this past week we had really bad weather. And there was a couple of days where I wasn't able to get out in the morning. I was able to later, but not having those mornings and it just throwing things off, my whole day was thrown off. And it's been having that morning meditation, sort of breathing, breath work has been something that's been a really positive thing for me.
Yeah, and I think it's something positive for anybody. It's kind of a practice, that I think evolves over a lot of time. But I've got a little better at that. It's calming, being able to breathe, and whatever works. But yeah, that's can be a meditation too.
So that is our wrap up of January, and I hope that is helpful for you. We've abbreviated it for you. I hope that the links below are helpful. If you have any questions, let us know. We're going to do a short recap like this every month. Again, we hope that it's helpful for you because we were searching for this when we were doing some research for what our year needed to look like and sort of a template. And you have anything else to add?
No, I think we've said it all at this point.
Okay.
We just appreciate you still hanging with us if you're there. And, it's been a pleasure to interact.
Yep. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.